but my worst day was, and Ron, I appreciate it, it's the emotion that goes into it sometimes, because we're supposed to go out there and be very cool and collected and calm, and so, as someone said in the introduction, you know, we have to keep it together all the time. And my hardest day was, I had worked as Ron Brown's director of communications when he was the chairman of the DNC, and the day his plane crashed on a trade mission in the Balkans and went down, and it was an awful thing because there were a lot of young people. Many of the folks on the White House staff knew who had been part of the advance party who were also killed in that crash. And I remember we had in the Oval Office, I don't know how the White House communications folks did this, but we had piped into the Oval Office the guys who were on the search and rescue team who were up there to confirm the identity of the body. And I remember it was awful. And the president called Alma Brown, and it was very emotional. And then it happened right around the time of the briefing. And so I said, okay, I got to go out and brief because everyone's going to want to know what's going on. And I didn't stop to collect myself, because here's a guy who I had crossed swords with. I think the only time I ever got fired in my life, Ron Brown fired me, and that we had, you know, a wonderful relationship despite that. And I remember going out there, and I got about 2/3 of the way into this, and I felt myself losing it. And I didn't, you know, I still feel myself losing it a little bit. And I had to stop and say, I need to, you know, I looked out at my staff, and they could tell I was in turmoil, so someone came up and handed me a note which said, "Get off now." So I went out and pretended that I was getting some important information from the president, and then came back and was able to do the briefing. But it's those moments that we can, you know, we handle a lot and prepare for a lot, but every once in a while you get something that just jerks you out of your place. And I think those were the hardest moments. Now maybe it wasn't the worst moment, maybe it was the hardest moment.